Yo, what's good, YouTube? In today's video, I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 meta loadouts here to use in season 4. There's been a lot of buffs, a lot of nerfs, and I got all of it for you guys here today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, with notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so for our first gun here today, we're gonna be getting into the DG58 LSW. This got a decent little bullet velocity nerf, but I'll show you guys how to combat that entirely. So the gun's gonna feel super good to be able to use here in game. First thing in the muzzle category we're gonna go do is we're gonna go throw on the VT7 Spiritfire suppressor just to keep us off the radar and of course help our overall recoil control, bullet velocity, and range. You guys take a look at this here. It says it has 838 meters per second bullet velocity. Stock, it used to have around about 880, but they nerfed it 100 meters per second down to 780. So we have attachments here that are definitely going to combat that. So we have the VT7 Spiritfire suppressor here on first. After that, in the barrel section, we go through on the typical Woody long barrel. This is what we've been running here on this gun, so no reason to switch it up. Aiming idle sway, bullet velocity and range, recoil control, and gun kit control. Pretty much what you would want to run here on this gun exclusively, especially since you're using it for long range and not like the conversion kit for short range. Now, underbarrel section, we go through on the Brune Heavy support grip here. It's our tried and true underbarrel. We always run that Brune Heavy support grip. It's just the best thing to be able to run on this gun. No reason to switch this up for something else. This thing's not gonna have much recoil anyways, and we don't really care if it gives us a tad bit of vertical because it's basically not noticeable no matter how you build this gun. After that, we're gonna go down to the ammunition, and this is gonna kind of help us out their overall bullet velocity and range. We're actually gonna go throw on the 5.8x 42 high grain rounds, or however you want to say it. Basically, these are high grain rounds. What this is going to do when we put this on here is this is going to bolster our overall bullet velocity, our effective damage range, all that stuff here by 15% universally. So we can see our bullet velocity is now at 1137 meters per second, which is absolutely incredible, especially for a fully automatic gun that's going to hit very hard at range. This attachment's really going to balance this gun out and pretty much still keep it at the very top meta slot here for a long range primary. So that's why we have that on there. And of course, then to finish off this build, we happen to have the JGod glassless optic, which is going to be the best precision sight you guys can run. If you want to go for something crazier, throw in like that Choreo Eagle Eye 2.5x, but other than that, no reason for you to switch out that JGod glassless. It's just definitely the best optic to run here on this gun. And for you guys that want to take a screenshot, here is it without my face cam. Next up, we're going to be taking a look here at the WSP9, a top tier SMG. This got a bit of a damage range nerf in terms, it's not as effective out past 18-ish meters. It's now only good up to about 15 to 16 meters, which is nothing crazy considering all SMGs really kind of fall within that range. They just kind of brought it back in line with other SMGs. So it's still going to be a great SMG, but let's get into here to show you guys the best build for it. So first thing in the muzzle, we're going to throw on the Zeman 35 compensated flash hider. No reason to run a suppressor, a different compensator. Just go for that Zeman, and this is definitely the best way to be able to stabilize this gun because you really don't have to use many other stabilizing attachments. You just have to use the Zeman, you'll be good to go. Barrel section, we go through on the last one in here, that Hiss short light barrel, increase in ADS speed, sprint to fire, and of course sprint speed, while not really having us get any cons for overall damage range, anything else like that, which is really nice. So that's why we have that on there. Underbarrel section, we go through on the XRK Edge BW-4 hand stop. I really enjoy this over the DR6 just because it's going to be covered here a little bit by my face cam, but if you guys take a look when you're building your setups, the ADS movement speed here, we have a plus 12% as opposed to if you go to the DR6, there's only a plus 6%. And ADS movement speed is like, you know, when you're kind of strafing back and forth when you're ADS, that's a huge thing when you're trying to stay alive in this game and be able to strafe back and forth, get good rotational aim assist, so on and so forth. So the XRK Edge really can help you out with that and make it so that your shots feel really nice. Now, magazine section, we go through on the 40 round mag. You guys could, if you really wanted to, go for the 50. I'm not going to stop you on that one, but the 40 round mag is still perfectly fine just because this gun doesn't have a ridiculously high fire rate. Normally speaking, I would tell you guys to always go for the biggest mag, but for the WSP9 or the Uzi, whatever you want to call it, you can kind of get away with using whichever one you want to. You will just be a little bit slower running the 50 if you choose to go with that. Lastly, we're going to go to the stock section. We're going to throw on this WSP factory stock, giving us the increase to our ADS speed, movement speed, and sprint speed. If you want to get a little bit crazier with it, go throw on that no stock attachment and it'll be absolutely flying around the map. Just keep in mind, the recoil is going to be a little bit more bouncy, a little bit more jumpy. With the WSP factory stock, you're really not going to get a whole lot of that. So it's either way you want to go for it. I mean, it's just going to work out beautifully, but for someone that's maybe a little bit higher skilled, the no stock's going to work, or even if you just want to go for something that's not going to have that much kick and be easy to use and still have great mobility, the stock is going to be great. Here's for all you guys, I want to take that screenshot. Now let's move on to our next gun. All right, now for our third gun here today, we're going to be jumping into Holger 556. This caught a nice buff, making it more effective and putting it a lot higher up in the meta category and giving us something new to use, not just like an SVA, a DG58. This now jumps into that category, and it should be a very fun assault rifle for all of us to use. So first thing in the muzzle category, we're going to go through on the VT7 Spiritfire. Definitely the way to go on this gun. It keeps us off the radar and still helps us further extend our overall bullet velocity and range. It just helps our overall recoil control. It is fantastic, and I definitely recommend for you guys to have this on there. Barrel section, we go through on the largest barrel in here, the Cryos 6 match barrel, giving us a massive increase to our bullet velocity and range. Of course, we get like a plus 20%, 20%, and 10% overall, making this thing hit harder at range. And of course, you can see it helps their overall recoil control, which is a massive W. So you guys definitely want this on here. No reason to ever not have this barrel. Of course, we're gonna go down to the magazine section and throw on the 40 round mag. I wish this had like a 50 or a 60. You know, that would be preferential, right? But this is the only downside to this gun right now, is the fact that it only has a 40 round mag. But it's still a great assault rifle to use overall, and actually pretty solid mobility just because it doesn't have a gigantic magazine. Optic section, we go through on the JAT glassless here as our optic of choice. I really don't be running those Choreo Eagle Eyes too much, really, just because I'm playing a lot of Rebirth Island personally, and I feel like this definitely addresses my long range situation for as much as I'm going to engage at that range. I mean, if you try to use something and someone's looking very, very small in your optic or use that JAT glassless, there's probably a pretty good chance that they're a little bit too far away for you to actually really engage and get some good shots off. So it's one of those things, it's like the great limiter. It shows you, hey, probably this is your cutoff here to where you should engage someone. But that JAT glassless is going to be our go-to optic. Lastly, in the stock section, we go through on the RB Adel Assault stock. And believe it or not, this is more effective than running like an underbarrel attachment to help with your overall recoil control. When you run this, it feels a lot more controlled. It centers back quicker as opposed to running something like the Bruin Heavy or any of those other underbarrels that we have the option to run. This just feels so much better. And of course, here is your option for the screenshot. Go ahead and take it. Next up for our number 4 slot, we're gonna be taking a look here at the Striker 9. This is still gonna be incredible here within the meta and definitely still the top, if not, you know, basically the overall number 1 SMG to use. They didn't go crazy this update here, which is absolutely nerfing things into the ground. They kind of did a little bit more minor balancing changes and didn't go absolutely crazy. They just brought guns up, did some minor nerfs, which actually I would appreciate. I'd rather than buff more guns, make more guns good, as opposed to just absolutely torching and making things unusable. So first thing, muzzle category, we're gonna go for that Zeman 35. This is just definitely the way to go. This is once again one of the only attachments you'll need, much like that WSP, to be able to stabilize the gun out. I mean, you don't need a whole lot other than this. Barrel section, you go through on the Striker Recon Long Barrel. I prefer to have this on here as opposed to the Striker Elite Long Barrel. I don't believe this to be as good just because it slows me down movement wise a lot more so than this other barrel here does, the Recon Long, and I get more of that bullet velocity and damage range, which is huge because this actually caught just an ever so slight effective damage range nerf, making it so that you should definitely run the longer barrel. So you guys definitely want to run the Recon Long Barrel as opposed to the Elite Long Barrel. You will notice a bit of a difference. Underbarrel section, you go down here and use the XRK Edge once again, just because, like I said, that in the WSP build, the strafe speed is crucial. I don't believe you need it's like a percentage point more ADS speed or sprint to fire speed. I'd rather have double this ADS strafe speed. So that's a huge thing, and I'd recommend for you guys always to go for the XRK Edge. Magazine section, we go through on the 50 round drum here. This is one of those guns where you should always run the biggest mag. WSP, you can get away with not running the biggest mag, run that 40 instead of the 50, but on this one, the fire rate is so much higher, you just spend so much more rounds, or so many more rounds, you should always go for the 50. Lastly, stock section, we go back here and run the Striker Factory stock. It's going to give us aim locking speed, movement speed, and of course, sprint speed. Not going to mess your recoil control hardly at all. It says it messes with it a little bit, like 10%. You really don't notice it much because this gun is very stable, and it just feels great to use overall. So this is going to be my full build right here. And of course, here is it without my face cam. And lastly, I want to give you guys kind of like a sniper sport build here for the Battle 27. This caught a pretty sizable buff, extending out its overall damage range quite significantly by another 10 to 15 meters, which should make this thing a lot better at range. So I'm going to give you guys a nice build here for it that should be very nice and usable. First thing, we're going to go in here to the compensator section. We're going to go all the way down here, and we're going to be throwing on the Casus Break to help with the horizontal recoil. So this gun definitely still has some recoil to it. We have to stabilize it out, so we're gonna go through on the Casus Break here to help us out with that. Barrel section, what we're gonna go do is we're gonna go throw on this not kill long barrel, helping with our recoil control and gun kit control. It just helps you overall, so I really like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't mess with our effective damage range a whole lot, but this is still definitely the barrel to run, especially since you're probably gonna use this as more of like a sniper support, since this is not like a ridiculously good long range assault rifle. Though it did get a nice damage range buff, it's still not going to be like insanely good at range. It's not going to compete with, you know, your DG58, your SVA, so on and so forth. At the underbarrel section, we go through on that Bruin Heavy. Once again, just to stabilize it out, we like all the benefits of this. And of course, having a minor bit of vertical recoil at 4% is something we're totally okay with, because it's very easy to be able to control a little bit of vertical recoil, especially by the time, you know, aim assist kicks in, rotational, you know, you're moving around. It's very easy to be able to mess with. After that magazine, we're gonna go down here and use the only attachment, which is the 60 round mag. Beautiful. I'm glad they have a big magazine for this gun, so 60 round mag is the way to go. Lastly, in the stock section, we're gonna go throw on the Ardent tac stock, which is really substantially gonna help us out their overall recoil control. I mean, a 29% increase and then 7% for overall for horizontal and vertical is huge. Definitely want to try this out. So this is my full BAL 27 build. Definitely get a screenshot here for this one. So this has been my top 5. We're gonna be doing some testing on that Car 98K to get you guys that best build, so be sure to stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, check out this other video on screen. I'll see you all next time.